You guys are good? Press record. Let me know when you... Oh, we're on. Tonight on Monday Night Bitcoin, we're talking about all the latest, greatest news in the cryptocurrency space. What will happen with Bitcoin after the G20 Summit? Also, Trump putting a ban on cryptocurrencies? What is going on? Talking about it tonight on Monday Night Bitcoin, so stay tuned. Good evening, I'm your host, PETRO Wieland, and tonight on Monday Night Bitcoin, we have a lot of pressing news. What is going on with President Trump? Also, is the G20 Summit bullish on Bitcoin? We're going to get right into it here. Breaking news from Washington today. President Trump issuing an order prohibiting U.S. citizens from engaging in transactions using the oil-backed currency called the PETRO. He authorized the Treasury Secretary to issue any necessary regulations to enforce this order. So the Venezuelan government is rolling out a new cryptocurrency called the PETRO. We talked about it a couple weeks ago, and this is not good news for Venezuela. Our next story talking about Bitcoin and the possible death cross looming in the future here. Bitcoin's 50-day moving average has dropped to the closest proximity to its 200-day moving average in 9 months. Crossing below that level is something that has not been done since 2015. If this does happen, this is going to signal a lot of weakness to come. Technical analysis traders are eyeing the $3,000 support on Bitcoin, saying that if the 50-day moving average does cross the 200-day moving average, this would be a clear signal that we are heading lower. A recent survey shows that less than 10% of Americans own cryptocurrencies. Overall, only about 8% of the US population has invested in digital tokens such as Bitcoin. The study found that the majority of crypto buyers are millennials, with more than 17% claiming to have holdings, compared to later generations and baby boomers. Senior MasterCard executive Ari Sarker today told the Financial Times that if governments look to create national digital currencies, they would be very happy to look at those in a more favorable way, so long as it's backed by a regulator and the value, it is not anonymous, and it is meeting the regulatory requirements. I think that would be a great interest for us to explore. Once again, MasterCard stating that they are not interested in Bitcoin trading. MasterCard Labs is working on a blockchain technology that will support a wide range of use cases, including but not exclusive to business-to-business interbank payments, tracking trade financial obligations along the value chain, exchanging know your customer and anti-money laundering data between trusted parties, and more. Could this be the Ripple Labs killer? Sounds like MasterCard is working on something very similar to XRP. Wall Street analyst Tom Lee predicts that Bitcoin could reach $91,000 by March 2020. Based on previous chart performances. I talked about this yesterday, talking about how Bitcoin has done this multiple times, how it has pulled back 70 to 80% and then made a major move afterwards. If you look at the chart here, you can see these declines in the past. Tom Lee has been predicting higher prices of Bitcoin since it was below $3,000. In July 2017, Lee had already stated that Bitcoin would hit $55,000 by 2022. More recently, in January of this year, Tom Lee said that Bitcoin would hit $25,000 by the end of 2018. Bullish news coming from the G20 Summit, as the Bank of England governor and head of Financial Stability Board, Mark Carney, told G20 members that crypto assets do not pose risk to the world's economy. He was quoted saying that the FSB's initial assessment is that crypto assets do not pose risk to the global financial stability at this time. This in part is because they are such a small percentage of the financial system. Even at their recent peak, combined global market value was less than 1% of the global GDP. In comparison, just prior to the global financial crisis, the national value of credit default swaps was 100% of global GDP. So you can see we've had much larger issues in the past than cryptocurrency has ever had on the overall global market. So let's take a look at the Bitcoin chart and see what's going on right now. Bitcoin recently dipping down there to the $7,250 area and now bouncing back today. I think if Bitcoin can close above that $8,000 area, that'll be a bullish sign. But I'm still worried after kind of looking at the past, what has happened with some of these sell-offs and the overall bear market when it does happen in cryptocurrencies. Normally we get about an 80% drop, so that 80% drop would put us down there in the $3,000 area. If you look clearly, we are just trending lower, making these lower highs, and lower lows. So not looking good right now overall with Bitcoin. It's just one of those things. I think it's one of those things we just need to hold right now. Some people are talking about kind of this overall trend here on Bitcoin, kind of lining up right there. Bottom of these candles, you got kind of this trend here. If you look at Bitcoin, so some people are kind of looking at this trend here with these lows back in 2017, kind of lining up right here and kind of bouncing, hoping that this $7,500 area, $8,000 area is going to act as support, and then we might look to get the next test of this resistance, this overall downtrend with Bitcoin. I think we have good news with the G20 Summit. Obviously, people were going to be scared, the G20 Summit, that they could possibly ban Bitcoin, stuff like that, cryptocurrencies. But right now, it looks like the G20 Summit is going to be positive. Doesn't sound like there's going to be any type of real regulation coming out of the G20 Summit. There's a lot of different nations there, so it's going to be hard to get everyone to agree on, hey, we're going to ban Bitcoin, or hey, we're going to get, we're going to make this regulation. It is nice looking here at the daily chart, how this bounced right here off this $7,200 area, and you had a pretty nice little bounce, little strong little bounce from that $7,200 area back up there to $7,800, and then today we've rallied up there. The high today was $8,700. So we've had a big move from that $7,200 area. If you look at the hourly chart, you can see it's a little bit better here. This rally up here to the $8,700 area, not looking so bad. This is not a bad move from $7,200 up there to $8,700, but we are kind of hitting that EMA once again here. Right there, that EMA kind of finding resistance there. So we need to see if we can find some support there at the $8,000 area and then jump back over this EMA and start to get kind of bullish. Over 9,000, you can see we have this kind of resistance in this $9,000 area, 9,000, 9,400 area. So we need to see if we can kind of get back to that area. I think overall, it's just almost impossible to really know exactly what's going to happen here with Bitcoin. But I am thinking that we might see some more downside from here. Trust me, I would be happy for us not to see any more downside. But at the same time, I'm trying to be realistic here, and I'm trying to tell myself that there is a possibility that we could go lower. I'm just trying to buy a little bit, a little bit, a little bit. If I can add it up and get a nice little bag here while not overextending myself, I think long-term, that's the best plan in terms of long-term investing in cryptocurrencies right now. What happened after it dropped 80%? It went up 2,000%. So that's what I'm looking for. That's my goal, my plan right now, is to look for that next big move. And I'm going to be sitting pretty when it does happen. I'm going to leave you with this one final quote, this one final idea. Do not invest more than you're willing to lose in cryptocurrencies. And if you are investing long-term, these dips do not matter, because 2 or 3 years from now, we're going to look back and think, wow, Bitcoin was really cheap back when it was $8,000. I will talk to you guys later on. If you guys haven't already, do me one big favor, hit that subscribe button. And this has been your host, Patrick Wieland, with Monday Night Bitcoin.